Hi, Wine Stars. We're just waiting for Robyn to join, so it'll just be one moment. So let's just give her a second to log on. So it's our very first new Tea with the Universe on Tuesday night. And we're still waiting for Robyn to get here. Just give me one moment. I have to do this on my phone, so I'm just trying to get it set up on my computer as well. Let's see, there it is. Okay, perfect. So still waiting for Robyn to join. So she should be here any second. Hi, Daphne. Hi, Brian. Thanks for joining us. I'm just waiting for Robyn to get here. And I think, there we go. Let's see, is she here yet? No, she's not. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Melissa, Daphne, Brian. Thanks for joining, guys. We're still just waiting for Robyn to get here so that we can start our Tea with the Universe tonight. As I was mentioning earlier, it is our first one for our Tuesday nights. So Robyn says she's here. I do not see her. So I have to message her. And we tried it before doing this tonight just to make sure it would work, and now it's not working. So let's see. I'm still not seeing her. Sorry, guys. Oh, here she is. Let me see if I can add her now. Yes, there we go. So she should be joined. There you
Sorry.
are.
I was trying to figure it out here. I was waiting for the live video to pop up and it didn't pop up on my thing. So I'm glad I'm here now.
Well, you're here now. So I was telling everyone, tonight is my first Tuesday night tea. So
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for everyone to be here. And I was telling them that you are my guest this evening. So Robyn, if you'd just like to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do, then we'll take it from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So obviously my name's Robyn. I run a local business here in Edmonton where I share yoga and mindfulness for the young at heart. So we're called Glow Yoga Kids, and we go into daycares and schools and we share our passion and our love for all things spiritual and yoga and mindfulness and yeah, just connecting kids with themselves and with each other and building on that connection kind of throughout the community and seeing what we can share and expand with in that way. So that's kind of the bulk of what I do, aside from, just trying to volunteer and be an advocate for community and connection. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
And how do you find your Glow Yoga has been doing in light of recent events?
So it's been a little bit tricky. Obviously, the bulk of what we share is needing to be in person. Is needing to be like, I mean, typically we do our work in daycare centers and schools and community leagues. We do, birthday parties and all of these really magical, wonderful things. Um, but I've found that like we can do virtual things, but I found that it almost loses its magic a little bit. It's still beautiful and amazing, but it loses a little bit of its magic just not being able to connect in the same way. I feel like the biggest thing about what we teach is all about connection and, getting kids to, the magic of touch and getting them to connect to themselves and other people. It's really hard when there's the virtual barrier. So it's
But
been a little bit tricky.
yeah, I guess you have to be more ingenuitive then, right? And come up with different ways of doing things. So it's a creativity thing, right? So
Yep. Yeah, we're getting creative now. I can tell you that.
I bet. I
Yeah.
noticed that I often see on my wall things show up like you're making bugs and stuff like that. So
Yes.
how does that play into all of it?
Yes. So basically, since the daycares and schools have shut down, I have been volunteering my time to be able to watch my young nieces because my sister and her husband are both in essential service. And so I've basically, I can't stand not to be around children. And so I'm like, let me do it. Let me help you. And so a big part of what we share in a lot of our classes and the things that we like to do are not just like the physical, what you would see in a yoga class, like the physical movements, but meditation in all aspects and mindfulness in all aspects. So we incorporate a lot of crafts and fun into those things in order to make it more tangible for children. So what I've been working with my nieces a lot is like we've been doing, themed weeks where we've been doing, yoga classes around the theme, crafts around the theme, meditations around the theme, like anything that we can basically do to kind of bring that so that they're able to learn in a tangible way using both the left and the right side of their brain and feeling it in their bodies, not just reading it in a book or getting some facts somewhere. They're actually able to experience it in kind of a surround sound way, you could say. So that's what I've been doing with my time, is kind of reinventing the wheel a little bit and experiencing it in a way that's different than like a full-on classroom. I'm having more one-on-one time and drawing on those strengths to build something really beautiful with them. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's phenomenal and probably really beneficial for these
Hmm.
kids as well. So,
Yeah.
how do you find that doing yoga with children in this group setting, group environment, how do you find that that helps them overall, not just health wise, but overall in the big picture? What,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many benefits. Like, you just think about the physical benefits just for a moment. Like, that's the obvious one, right?
Hmm.
People are like, yoga is getting kids moving, keeping them active, like fighting against inertia, all of these things, right? Those are the physical benefits, and there's like millions of them. But then when you kind of flip to the other side, um, this is for adults and children alike, but I think it's important to start at a young age so that we're able to build those tools, is like realizing, okay, when a certain emotion comes up, how can I work with this emotion as opposed to push it down? And how can I, use these different tools that I've learned in yoga class to, deal with those big things in life and be resilient and be more ready to take on things with grace and ease. I find that a lot of adults don't know how to do this. It's unfortunate to say. And even myself, like, I still work on it every day, and I'm nowhere near where some of these children that I work with are, because they're getting these resources young. And they're acknowledging that when my body feels this way, when I feel, this is where I'm feeling it in my body, and these are the tools that I can use to help me manage this. It's invaluable. Like it's like one of the biggest strengths, I think, of the new generation, and is going to be one of the biggest strengths as long as we continue to
Mhm.
share that knowledge and that wisdom with them, so that they're able to take that and grow up into more well-adjusted adults. I mean, we're seeing it right now. It's hard. I'm like feel like my words are just like spiraling out. We're seeing the tipping point right now of all of this
Mhm.
craziness and us not being able to handle these things. We're seeing it everywhere, all around us, and and no one's looking at the kids. Like I feel like we're missing that piece of like these kids know. They know what's
Well,
going on.
and you're providing them, and just like so many other people right now, we're providing them with the tools that we didn't have, that we were given or
Exactly.
figured out later on in life. And just think of
Yeah.
what amazing little creatures they're going to be when they grow up, starting off with these tools. They don't have to go
Yes.
through all the trials and tribulations and ups and downs that we went through. Of course they'll have their own, but at least they'll have the tools to deal with some of the stuff that
Yep.
we didn't. So
Yep.
that's
Absolutely.
phenomenal. That Thank you for
Hmm.
doing that. I often say my kids are grown up now, and I often say I wish I had known then what I know now, because there
Oh,
would have been a lot of different parenting going on for sure.
yep. I hear that. We get a lot of that, like in the line of work that we do, because parents they're starting. Like I feel like it's with everybody. When you know better, we do better. And so when
Absolutely.
we start to realize those things, we're like, oh, okay, now how can I, move forward with this in the best way? How can
Hmm.
I have these conversations, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely, Daphne, you're right. This is the tipping point, and kids did come here to change the planet. And you know what? We came here to teach them, to help them do that. So it's
Yep. We all have our part in it. We all have our part in it.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, and
So,
whatever, I
other than,
mean,
sorry, go on.
go ahead. No, I was gonna say whatever our role is, I feel like all of them are important in shaping what's
And
gonna
I think
be.
we're all coming together and, kind of finding our role right now, or maybe less than finding it. We're not thinking about it so much, and we're feeling more into it. So we're allowing it to manifest and become what it is. Especially with everything that's going on right now, people don't have the same demand. You don't have to go to work every day. You don't have certain deadlines that you've always had to meet. So you're gifted the gift of time, I guess.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people are looking at it like, I've never had the time or the opportunity to do this. So what do I have to lose now?
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And I feel like the quarantine, as hard as it's been, and the shutdown and everything that's happening, as hard as it's been for a lot of people, it's kind of giving us an opportunity to choose how we want to move into this new space, right? We're making a decision and a conscious choice now about,
Absolutely.
I realize that family is the most important thing, or this is my priority. And now I can choose when I go back into society as a whole, how I want to show up and who I want to show up for.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I think. It's bringing the most important things to the forefront. And like Daphne mentioned, collaboration and cooperation. I mean, more people, instead of saying, you can buy this off me, it's what can I do for you? What can we exchange? How
Yes.
can I be of help? So it's less about the actual money and more
Mhm.
about our inner gifts and what we can do for one another. So it's bringing community back together. And I hope, and I feel that there is a lot of community that will survive when we move forward. I mean, it's not for everyone. It should be, but it's not. But I think that it's going to survive with a lot of people. I think we're going to continue with that bartering exchange system as opposed to the monetary system.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I definitely have seen a lot of that going around. And I mean, you just think about the market right now online is a lot of that, exactly that, Daphne, just being in service is
Yeah.
like posting what can I give for free, what can I offer to you, and even just when people are offering things for payment, it's usually in a donation sense because they want to be able to support the community. Everyone's going through it.
Hmm.
um, yeah, definitely. I think it's going to shift. It's shifting a lot of things.
It's a trying time, but it's a very exciting time at the same time.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like anything else. How you look at it, how you perceive it is what you're going to get out of it.
Yep.
So, and for me, it has given me the opportunity for so much growth and so much expansion. It it, it I'm I have no words.
At a loss. I know. I feel very similarly. Like my words get all jumbled when I talk about it because I'm like this is so
It's
it's just there.
energetic, right? It's more of
Yeah,
an
it's a
energy thing.
feeling.
It's a feeling. Can you feel
Yeah.
my energy coming through the phone and the computer, your monitor?
Yes.
Yes, Daphne,
100%.
everything is shifting. And I mean, I was reading something today and I shared it on one of the groups I'm in.
Hmm.
Something about how our planetary alignments right now, some of these haven't happened in like 2,500 years, and certain things that have happened, the riots
Hmm.
and wars and so much stuff that has gone on. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining us. And it's just, it really opens your eyes to what we're going through and maybe why we're going through this right now. And yeah,
Yeah.
sharing, learning, growing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a great time to be alive.
Yes. Yes. And I know that there's a lot of perspective out there that's feeling the opposite,
Yeah.
because it's very hard. And I get it,
Hmm.
because especially when you're very stuck in a certain way, which a lot of us
Yes.
have been for so long, it's really hard to recognize that change and not be resistant to it when you're used to a certain way and you've been used to a certain
Well,
way for so long.
and
Yeah.
especially when our society is based on a monetary system. And
Yes.
when you are accustomed to living a certain way, especially if it's paycheck to paycheck and then that paycheck is
Mhm.
taken from you,
Totally. Yeah.
that I that is unfair. And when I
Yes.
say we're fortunate to be living in this and that there's so much positive coming out of this, I don't mean in that sense at all. And I don't mean to take away from that or downplay it because that is so important. I
Yes.
just mean on a mother nature scale, even like how much our earth is healing itself and how this is allowing you to stay home with your family. And I know that that's not even always the best either, but it, it goes both ways, but I choose to look at the positive side of it.
Totally. I think you're right. And I think being a part of this and being able to experience it as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to, potentially a few generations ago where it was all kind of status quo. Like I feel like just being able to be a part of such an momentous, shifting, changing time is like such a gift. It's
Yes, yeah,
yeah,
and people are more open now. If
yeah,
especially to spirituality and the bartering system, even though they're both so old, they were both left behind. And if
right.
this would have happened a few years ago, I don't think the barter system or spirituality or people looking within would have been as prominent as it is now. And I think it would have been a lot more devastation.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think yeah. I mean, at the end of 2019, I work with a lot of like healers and really powerful people in the community. And kind of at the end of 2019, the big thing that they were all like across the board were like big things are coming,
mhm.
like, and shifting. Like there's stuff that's happening. And at that time, it wasn't so much as what's going to happen, but it was to the degree of how it's going to affect everybody. And I don't think anybody maybe could have predicted exactly this,
I don't think
but
so.
but I mean, I think that the shifts have been building for a long time. And it's just
Mhm.
this point of like we're ready for it now. We're ready to take it on, even though it's challenging and it's going to be much worse before it gets better. I think we're ready to take it and we're ready to build that new future in just a
Well,
better way.
and that's because I feel of community and people coming together and people sharing their gifts and less competition, less I'm better than you or I want to be like you, and
Right.
more this is who I am and I'm going to show my true colors and we're going to band together and we are going to make this work.
Yep.
So,
Yep. 100%, 100%, which is, and it's another piece to why I'm so passionate about what it is that I do, because I feel like with these changes and these shifts, we're going to need those those young people that have that head on their shoulders, that are able to discern the truth from the mistruths and are able to,
yes.
charge forward in the best possible light. They're not jaded from the past yet. Like
Yes.
they can take it on with fresh eyes. And yeah, I just
But that's exactly what our parents said about us, right? We're going to raise our children to save our future. And they did, because we're doing the same with the children that come into play now to make the appropriate changes.
right.
So as we go down the line and heal those ancestral wounds,
Yes.
we're building a beautiful, beautiful place.
Yes. Truly.
So
Truly. Yep. Yep. And we just keep learning. And like we kind of touched on before, like when you know better, you do better. And that's what's
yeah.
happening through the generations, right? People are slowly starting to wake up and starting to realize that this is the new way and this is what we need to be doing. And the future generations are going to continue on that same path. And we're going to get to this place of, you're right, just complete beauty.
Yeah, and that gives me such a warm, fuzzy feeling inside because I believe it's attainable.
Yes.
I don't know how far out of our reach it is at this exact moment, just like I didn't know when everything was going to happen or what was going to happen. I could feel it, I could feel it manifesting, I knew it was coming. And it's the same with this. There's that joy, that excitement, that heat inside of me that knows this is going to happen and it's going to be beautiful. I don't know when.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. There was something I read just not too long ago that was talking about, um, like the real importance is planting the seed, knowing that you might not be the one to sit under its magnificence, like under the tree, that you're not going to be able to
Mhm.
shade or whatever of the tree. And I think it's that's a big part of like what this kind of represents is we're planting seeds right now, we're growing this future, and maybe we're not going to be the ones that are going to reap the rewards, but it is going to get to that place and future generations are going to be able to live in that light. So
Absolutely. And I
yeah,
mean, we get to reap the rewards from wherever we are. We get to
yeah,
enjoy it and look at it and see all its blissfulness and
really, it's all about the journey, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. And every journey has its ups and downs. So
Mhm.
appreciate the good. Without the bad, we don't appreciate the good. And without the good, we do. I, I can't remember how that goes. Without the bad, we wouldn't appreciate the good. And without the good, I guess we'd just be miserable. I know that's not how it
Yeah.
goes.
It reminds me of I can't remember the name of the book now, but I did my Reiki training. I think it was my first Reiki training quite a few years ago now. And they shared this book with us. It was a children's book, actually. And it was about kind of the idea, and I know a lot of people are with this, and some people maybe have never heard of it, but the idea of kind of choosing your life before you come onto the physical plane. And so it was about all these angels, and it was all light, and everything was light, and it was beautiful, but it was really boring. And they were like, all this light is great, it's wonderful, but like we're not learning anything. There's no lessons, there's no essentially darkness. And so they decided, one person was like, well, I really want to learn about forgiveness. I want to learn about forgiveness. And so they're, well, you can't, because there's no darkness here. There's nothing that's going to
Yeah.
happen for you to forgive. And so another angel spoke up and said, okay, I'm gonna come with you, and I will do something so bad to you, that like so awful, out of love, so that you can learn how to forgive. And so, come down to earth, and like, and the big thing was like, remember that even in those moments when I've been so horrible to you, remember who I am, because you might forget that
Yeah.
I'm here, and I'm here as a lesson for you, and I'm here to share this light and love with you, and for you to learn this lesson because you want to learn it, because you've chosen to learn that coming into this space. And the biggest thing about that was just like, realizing that everyone is all a part of this journey together, and we're all learning from each other and creating and this kind of beauty, because we planned it. We
Mhm.
planned out what we wanna share and what we want to be. And just remembering that everyone still is that angel that's trying to teach us something, that's trying to spread the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of it all, you get to go back and congratulate one another on a great performance.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Which
Yes. I just love
sometimes
that.
is hard to accept, but I mean, we all come into this with our own beliefs and our own story and our own character, I guess, and
Yeah,
how we choose to live that life is our choice.
right. Right.
Yeah.
And I think the main lesson, I guess, that I was trying to get across from that is like remembering just who you are, right? And that
Hmm.
even though we've stretched far from one another, that we're all, everyone, I feel like everyone's intentions are good. I truly believe that there's innate like goodness in everybody. And even though we don't always share it, and we do hateful things, and we do horrible things to one another, I truly believe that there is that deep down wanting to be loving
Well,
and
and
want.
you know what? Like it's hi Lynn, hi Katrina. The more people act out, the more they are begging to be loved.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
like,
I see it. I see it in kids every day, and the kids are more obvious about it. That's the thing, is they don't have that filter. They don't, like lie in the same way or deceive, or they're
yeah,
just so pure about it. Like this is an obvious call for help. And so if
yeah,
you can see it in your little ones, then it, like, you can kind of work with that with the other people in your lives as
yeah.
well, and
And
see it in yourself.
yeah, and again, the great thing about you and everyone else that works with children, you get to teach them these skills from such an early age. So then we don't have as many issues as an adult that we don't understand, and that we don't know why we love someone but we're so angry, or why it comes out in anger. It's dealt with. We learn that every emotion is okay. You don't have to hide anger, you don't have to hide tears, you don't. Emotions are a wonderful, beautiful, healthy thing. So
Hmm. Yeah. And I mean, for me, anyways, the biggest part, or the another big piece that I like really appreciate working with children, and I know a lot of parents probably can attest to this as well, but they are mirrors of us. And so when we work with them on a regular basis, they literally, all the things that come up for them and that they act out about, and the things that they say and the things that they do are literally a representation of your own energy and what you're putting out there and what you're sharing with them. And so it's nice too, because not only are you teaching them and teaching them the way that they, you know, how to navigate through those things, but you're also being made aware of the things that maybe you haven't decided to look at for yourself, and the things that you
Especially
need to
in
work.
infants, right? I
Yeah.
mean, an infant reacts to the
Yes.
energy around. So,
100%. 100%.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
So is there anything else that you want to share with us?
Oh, I could maybe share like a little mini tidbit, like a little thing to do and try at home, maybe by yourself or with kiddos, either ways.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is something that I love to share in my classes, specifically around, because we've been talking a lot about emotions, and the biggest thing that I see is especially in adults is holding on to those emotions. So I've written lots about this, about you know, things like anxiety and fear and anger, and how the first 30 seconds of your reaction is literally just that. It's how your brain works. It's an instinct reaction the first 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, it then becomes a choice. So example, you're in traffic, you get cut off by somebody, and your immediate reaction is to yell and rage in your car. So that's fine. The initial reaction, totally okay. Those thoughts and emotions are going to come in, and they're natural and acceptable to have. After 30 seconds, though, you're then choosing to stay in that place. And so when you're, you know, you get cut off in traffic, you get really angry, and then you decide that the rest of your week is ruined because you got cut off in traffic, or the rest of your day is ruined, or something like that. It's really, it puts a lot of damage on our systems, both physically and emotionally and spiritually and mentally and all of those things. And so this technique is one that I share often with children, but it's also really beneficial for adults. It's called elephant hands. So I'm just going to put my phone on the side so that I can show you. I'm kind of like in a sideways angle, but hopefully you can see. So essentially what I do is I get them to open up their hands and imagine something that makes them very angry or upset, feel a very strong emotion about. So I find anger is the easiest or the most tangible to start with.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with something that makes me angry. And I'll give them some suggestions. Okay, so maybe your brother likes to steal your dolls or something like that. Or you're really angry, mom wouldn't let you have ice cream for dinner or something like that. You know, like choose whatever makes you angry.
Yeah.
You know, and hold it in your hands and have a look at it and make sure it can fit in your hands. So if you have to shrink it down, that's fine. And then we're going to squish it up. So we're going to squish up whatever makes us angry. Interlace our fingers, squish it between our fingers, pull them apart and squish them together as hard as you can for 10 seconds, almost so hard that like your hands start to hurt. You're going to squish, 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 squish. And then after 10 seconds, you're going to let it go. Close your eyes, take a big breath, and think about something that makes you so happy. So, you know, maybe you got to spend extra 15 minutes awake at bedtime or something like that, or you know, you got to play with your friends after the quarantine or something ended, you know, something that would make you happy. And then I get them to notice what happens to their hands after they've let go, because it's the same with anger. When we hold it in our bodies, it hurts. And we might not realize it right away, but over time we'll start to realize that it starts to squish our insides, and it squeezes our heart and our tummy and our brain, and everything in our body starts to tense up when we're holding that emotion for a really long time. But when we let go and we learn to let go of those emotions and let go of, you know, the hold that they have on us, not that we didn't experience them, because we allowed them to be there, we expressed them, we acknowledged them, we were able to feel it, but recognizing that after a certain period of time that we need to release them is, you know, we're realizing that once you learn to let them go, that you're no longer going to feel that in your body as well. And then over time, same for adults, right? When we hold on to those things for a longer period of time, it causes stress and illness and disease in the body. And even though kids aren't necessarily able to acknowledge that right away, they're still able to notice what it feels like to be tense and to hold versus relaxation. And so that's like a huge part of what I teach, not even just with elephant hands, that specific one, but like even just when we get down into our rest or we're going for a meditation, it's a lot about like squeezing your body parts and noticing what it feels like to be in a place of tension and to be in a place of stress versus a place of like total surrender and trust. So that was my little share.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I bet. It's again, I'm at a loss for words. Like that's phenomenal. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing that in
it.
teaching children that and adults that, because that's a quick release in that moment, right? After the 30 seconds, just, bring your hands together and release it. And I know I'll try it.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
So,
Yes, yeah, it's super. I mean, like I said, I've written a lot on it, like just that acknowledgement of it, that releasing it. I even throw in there like gratitude for it, because I think one of the biggest things that we don't realize a lot of the time, especially with things like anger and anxiety and fear, is most of the time they're there to teach us something.
yes.
And to protect us from something as well. So like anxiety, I get a lot of people coming to me, like adults and children alike, that have issues with anxiety, as like I do myself. And I try to spin it because they're usually like, I want to get rid of this, or I need my child to get rid of this. This is like it's not a feeling that we want to have. It's not something we want to experience. And so they're trying to get rid of it. But what they don't realize is that if a lion were to come into the room, they need that anxiety, because that anxiety tells you, get out of there.
Yeah.
The lion's going to attack you, right? And so if we didn't have that, we would just be, okay, whatever, lion, come in and rip my face off. Like, it'd be like you'd be totally fine about it, right? It's just acknowledging that, like, anxieties may be coming in those moments when it's not like a lion in the room, right? It's coming in when you're having a dog walks by or something like that, whatever the fear is or whatever the trigger is. And so just being able to acknowledge that and saying, oh, thank you, anxiety. Thank you for being there. But I'm okay, actually. This isn't a lion. I'm all right. I can squeeze this out and it's fine.
Right? Well, and that's one of the important things, thanking it.
Yes.
Because when you thank it, you can release it.
Totally. And you can make space for more gratitude and more positive in your life, right? And I feel like the more we resist, the more those things come up. And I'm going to just quickly go back to the anxiety part again, because when we say, like, I want to get rid of this, it's similar to saying, don't think about pink elephants. The first thing you're going to think about is pink elephants. So if you say, I don't want anxiety anymore, it's just going to be like, okay, well, here you go. Here's more anxiety.
Well, right. And the way I share that is the universe doesn't really hear negative. So if you're saying, I don't want anxiety, the universe is hearing, I want anxiety. Let's dump it on. So
yeah. So
and what we focus on, we manifest. So it boils down. 90% of the things we go through boil down to the way we word them, how we think about them. So, but I mean, that's a story for another time. So do you have any events or anything coming up, or did you want to we'll put your website we'll put your website in the link for people to check out after we're done. But do you have anything coming up, any online classes or at any specific time that you have your Glow Kids for people to join in and watch?
Totally. Yeah. So we've done quite a few things since the shutdown started. We started a YouTube page. And our YouTube has a bunch of free resources on it. So we've done
Okay.
free yoga classes, we've done poses of the day. We offer like resources and tools for parents and kids alike, across the board. So there's a lot of free options on there, and we continue to regularly update that as well. On top of that, we're doing virtual classes online. We're doing them on a sliding scale, just pay as you can, kind of various times throughout the week for literally from like baby all the way to adult. So everyone, there's a spot for everyone there. We're doing family yoga in the park, socially distanced, of course, coming up in the summer here. And then we've also got like, we're doing virtual birthday parties, yoga birthday parties, and virtual summer camps as well, which are going to be super fun, where we mail everything to you and then we do it online with you and all the kids in the camp.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so there's lots of things.
Yeah, what I'll get you to do then is put your link and information in the comments. Oh,
Yeah.
Lynn already did it for us. Thanks, Lynn. Lynn is
Lovely.
awesome. And so people can get in touch with you. They can log on that, look at that. And is that the best way for people to get in touch with you, or is there another way that they can reach you?
Yeah, through our website is probably the best way. We've got our email attached to all of that, but we also have like a bunch of social pages. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok even. We have
so you're
LinkedIn.
pretty easy to find.
Pretty easy to find. We're also, not to shamelessly plug us or anything, but if you look up kids yoga in Edmonton, we're #1 on Google. So if you just search us up, you can find us there.
That is not a shameless plug. That is a definite woohoo deserved. Good for you guys.
We've been working on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I think, and she's putting everything up there. Lynn is great. Everybody needs Lynn as a friend.
Thanks, Lynn.
So, and for me, as everyone knows, Tea with Universe is now, it's Tuesday's Tea with the Universe, which has a nice little ring to it. And I want to put out there, if anyone watching wants to be a guest, or if you know anybody that wants to be a guest, please give them my email. I can be reached at teawithuniverse@gmail.com. So just get in touch with me, because we're always looking for new guests. And there's a few new things coming up with the Weekly Wand. We got a few things in our pocket or up our sleeve. I know we're coming out with a new contest starting right away. So definitely everyone tune in to our Facebook page, The Weekly Wand, to see what's going on there. We've got some pretty cool prizes. I never, ever remember what to say at the end. There is an online market coming up for Father's Day. I can't remember the exact day for that, but there'll be a bunch of vendors there with products. I'll be there, Wandwear Creations, with some jewelry that I've made. So check that out. And tune in on Thursday at 11 a.m. I will be doing live readings. And at 7 p.m., Lynn will be doing, I know it's not Silent Whispers. It's called, I can't find it. Lynn, what is it? I know it's not Silent Whispers. I was calling it Silent Whispers earlier today. Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining. Anyhow, Lynn's doing her talk on Thursday night at 7 on the Weekly Wand as well. And stay tuned for web pages coming from the Weekly Wand, or not the Weekly Wand, from Tea with Universe and Wandwear Creations. Yes, the Artisans of Alberta online market. That's where you can find Quiet Thoughts. It's Quiet Thoughts, not Silent Whispers.
Lovely. Nice.
I think that's everything. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I can never remember all the stuff that I'm doing when it comes time to share. Maybe that's a reminder from the universe to write things down.
Yes, I struggle with that myself.
Because I won't forget.
Right.
When I do. So, unless there's anything else you have to add, I want to thank you for joining me.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine. And we definitely have your information in there. So I know I'll be looking at stuff and seeing what you have to offer online for sure.
Amazing. Thank you.
And again, thank you so much for joining us. And to all of my viewers today that have tuned in, thank you so much for joining us. I know you could be doing anything and you chose to be here, so it's much appreciated. And take care, and we will see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.